Hey everyone, so how much protein do you need per day? This can be a confusing question based on your activity level, but what's really important is that if you consistently miss your protein goals, whether you're someone who is mildly active or you're an elite athlete, you're going to feel sluggish. You'll be more likely to get injured, and you definitely won't feel strong. So, if you want to optimize your health, feel stronger, and improve your recovery, be sure to watch this video until the end, where we're going to discuss our top 5 signs that you're not eating enough protein. And we're also going to explain exactly how much protein you need in a typical day. The first thing we need to understand is why protein is so incredibly important. Most of us know that protein is one of the 3 major macronutrients, right? We have protein, carb, and fat. But what does protein actually do for the body? Okay, it might be well known that protein helps build muscle, but did you know that it also helps build bone, cartilage, tissue, and pretty much everything else in the body? So it's not just about our muscles at the end of the day. If you want to have healthy joints, beautiful glowing skin, strong, vibrant, silky hair, and more, we need to get adequate protein. And also just a little fun fact for you, when my athletes come to me and say, I'm starving all day and I can't figure out why, it's almost always because they are not meeting their daily protein needs. They're not eating enough protein to support how physically active they are. Another big reason why protein is so important, and something many people undervalue or don't even realize, is that protein helps with hormone production. Protein provides the building blocks and signals for hormones to properly be produced and used in the human body. Okay, now let's dive deep into the 5 signs you're not eating enough protein. The first sign is poor recovery after workouts. Basically feeling really sore for a long period of time. While it's normal to feel sore after more intense workouts, or even when you're changing your routine every now and then, it's not normal to consistently feel sore for 3 or 4 days post your workout. And sometimes our clients complain of feeling sore for a week. That is not okay by any means. Constantly feeling sore is often a sign that there is some sort of protein issue at hand. And there are multiple avenues we could go down, right? I mean, I feel like we could talk forever on this, but the reason why I'm a functional sports dietitian is because we dive deeper than just counting macros. I mean, there could be such a serious gut imbalance. All that bloating and reflux could be because your good bugs are not in the right place. So that means even though you're eating enough protein, you're not actually digesting and absorbing it. And sometimes when you do feel kind of refluxy and weird after you eat, especially when it's a high protein meal or your gut feels off, it's usually a sign that there's not enough digestive enzymes in your body to break down that protein. So it's more complex than most people think. And it really is this big tangled web that we weave, but we weave it every week, and that's why we become so good at this. So if you feel like you're at that point where you're eating enough, you feel like you're hitting your protein goals, but you just feel like something is missing, that is when you would take it to the next level and work one-on-one with a sports dietitian. And if you are sore and you're tired, not just hungry, but you maybe just feel like everything is off, again, that is when you would need to work with a dietitian. And piecing together Google articles isn't really going to help cut it. We've been able to help transform the lives of countless number of athletes, and we've helped them feel strong again by figuring out their protein needs and also how effectively they were actually digesting all of that protein. If this is something you're really interested in, we'll have a link to our totally free anti-inflammatory meal plans in the show notes below. So you can get on our email list and get notifications when we'll actually be taking clients again. Okay, next up we have the second sign that you know you're not eating enough protein, which is constant hunger. I briefly mentioned this, but so many people don't realize that if you're not eating enough protein, your blood sugar is going to be all over the place all day long. You may find that you crave sugar a lot more than you should, and you will feel hungry shortly after you just ate. It's very often because your protein needs weren't met at that meal, and maybe even for the day. The third sign you know you're not eating enough protein is an unexplained decrease in lean muscle mass. So imagine the times when you might be working out hard, but despite your greatest efforts, you're actually losing lean mass. It feels like you're losing muscle. This is typically due to your body not getting adequate fuel to recover and rebuild that muscle, right? The muscle's being torn down when you work out. You need to refuel to build that muscle back up. If you want to learn more about this topic, we have a blog post titled, "Why Am I Losing Muscle Mass and Weight? And Potential Causes of Poor Muscle Growth," in the show notes below if you'd like to read a little more. The fourth sign you're not getting enough protein is an inability to gain lean muscle mass, right? So you're training really hard, you're hitting every mark on the plans that your coach, your strength coach, your whoever coach, the coach of your sport has put together, and you just aren't building lean mass. You have to dig into your protein. Now, before we get into the fifth sign that suggests you are not consuming enough protein, if you're enjoying this video, could you do us a huge favor and hit like below this video? It really helps us grow our channel and helps YouTube see that we're putting out solid content. Okay, the fifth and final sign that you're not consuming enough protein is an inability to lose weight. This may come as a surprise, but a lot of times if your protein needs aren't being met, it kind of goes back to the blood sugar, and also there's a metabolism point to this, right? Without getting too scientific here, if you're not eating enough protein, it will actually slow metabolism. Your body has to work really hard to break down protein in a good way, right? But we burn more calories when we break down protein versus, let's say, a carbohydrate, right? So if your ratio of macronutrients is off, not only will you be hungry, but you will not be burning fuel as efficiently. Now it's time to get into understanding how much protein you need in a day. There's a simple way to figure this out, which we'll review first. And then there is a more detailed approach that we will provide you with that gives you better results. First, get on a scale to obtain your body weight in pounds. The next step is to convert this weight into kilograms by dividing that number in pounds by 2.2. Now that we converted our weight to kilograms, we can simply use this number as the bare minimum amount of protein that you need each day, right? That means you're multiplying that number times 1. So a 140-pound athlete that is doing only low-intensity exercise would probably need about a bare minimum of 63 grams of protein. Keep in mind that, again, this is the bare minimum. The next step is to really fine-tune this to your specific needs. To do this, we need to better understand your age, training demands, gut health, and so much more. To make things more specific, we'll usually take the weight in kilograms and multiply it by anywhere from 1.2 to 2 for calculating more specific training needs. This means that the protein needs for a 140-pound athlete could range really anywhere from 63 grams per day, we can round up to 65, all the way up to 126 grams per day, so let's say 130. The athletes that should be on the high end of the training range are those competing very intensely, right? High intensity training such as CrossFit athletes, athletes doing heavy weight training in the off season, especially football players. Believe it or not, intense endurance athletes often need as much protein as a bodybuilder or someone lifting very intensely. For those of you who are serious, we've created a step-by-step course that will transform your workout recovery in just 14 days so that you can have energy and strength to take on whatever life or your next workout throws your way. We'll have that link in the show notes below so you can get started today. We promise the start of a transformation in less than 2 weeks. Lastly, now that you know the signs that you're not getting enough protein, and also you know roughly how much protein you need per day, remember, 1.2 to 2 grams per kilogram. 1.2 to 1.4 would be lower intensity, 1.4 to 1.6 would be more higher intensity, 1.6 to 2 grams per kilogram is more intense training, heavy lifting. Those are the ranges that you're gonna fall in between. So now that you kind of know the basics, what can we help you with next? What questions do you have? Please comment below. Even if you just wanna say, hey, I like steak, we're willing to listen and like that too. So be sure to leave any of your burning questions below. We promise you we'll reply. And lastly, be sure to hit the subscribe button and hit like to get updates on our future videos. The icon looks like this. And if you hit that button, you'll get notified of all our future videos. That's all for now.
Oh!